I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed, more innovation.
It's going to make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
Good evening, curling fans, and welcome to the Curling Stadium Martensville Invitational here from the Martensville Curling Center. We're bringing you today this B qualifier game, so the winners will advance to the championship bracket. And we have Nancy Martin throwing the Red Rocks versus Amber Holland with the yellow. It is Martin with the hammer here in the first end. I'm Dave Schmel. I'm joined by Jim Nix. And so this is a game that both these squads want to win.
Yeah, it's always better to get through B and not have to go down into that win or go home kind of category down in C. So, yeah, it's definitely a way to go. So, should be an interesting game. I saw Nancy Martin in the first draw of the Bonspiel, and she was coming off a semi-vacation and trip to Europe and struggled pretty mightily, and her team really didn't help her out a lot in that game, but we predicted then that she would certainly be around at the end, and here she is. So she's obviously turned it up since then, and Amber Holland is a former Canadian champion and silver medalist at the Worlds, and always was a good player at all levels, and a good builder and executive in the world of curling as well. So should be an exciting game.
Right there, that hit attempt had a flash there. So now Holland has a free shot here. This is the first stone and the second. Sherry Singler. Thank you, folks, for joining us from wherever you are. You chose to take some time with us, and we appreciate it. I'm going to draw this one right on down to the 4-foot.
Yeah, Amber's basically taken that approach without hammering the first end, that just going to keep it relatively simple, and rather than throw up guards and get into all that kind of stuff, she'll just put them in the house. And, it's early in the end, but she's got to set up to force here. But like I say, you've got 6 rocks or 5 rocks to come or whatever it is. So it's, lots of time to clean this up from Nancy Martin.
Here's Kadriana Lott. The second for Martin. Makes it sit with no mistakes, so good bounce back shot for the team. Lots of rocks to keep that split going for a force, though.
Yeah, for sure.
Second on the way for Singler. Right on the beak. Now an opportunity to hit and roll over to the neighborhood. If you really had to, you can make the double, but just roll over there is probably good enough.
Yeah, exactly. It's, that's the difference. Now the rocks are close enough that it's worth giving this a try and getting into the vicinity of the other stone.
Coming on down there trying to hold it for the line. Gonna catch it right in the beak, so opportunity to maintain some separation here. But that might be the last one you have room for.
Yeah, it's gradually working its way out of the house here, isn't it?
Here's the third. This is Jill Schmel. That one will remain on the rings.
Yeah, you might see Nancy switch this again now and try to maybe make the hit and roll.
And that's what she indicated. And throwing these stones should be Shaylin Kitts. Going to get the hit. Not much of a roll to speak of, though. Opportunity for Holland to reestablish that separation.
Yeah, Team Holland's done a really good job here of maintaining this advantage and potential force through, half an in now. They don't have a whole lot more shots to go before they actually do force Nancy Martin to take one.
This one's right on the beak. A little too high for that roll under probably now.
Yeah. Yeah, she wouldn't have very much room between the two, but I think it's worth a go anyways.
So the second here from Shaylin. Just catches a piece of it and rolls on out. So
it's interesting here because certainly Amber could. They haven't thrown any draws, I guess, part of the problem, but they did throw them in practice. She could decide to come around the yellow one and try to maybe get a little bit more serious about scoring a point, but still have a few rocks to come. Not quite as many as we show on the graphic there, but
yeah, because we are on skip rocks here.
Yeah.
So this is the first of two for Amber Holland, the skipper from Saskatoon. Looking to put a big split of the rings on. This is pretty high, just making it just a little bit into the 12-foot.
Yeah, Nancy might take on the double here. She can throw it really hard.
See, they're entertaining the thought of coming under herself and going for a skipper's deuce.
Yeah, definitely an option.
Double's certainly there. We've seen plenty of action in these houses thus far this weekend.
Yeah, I think if I'm throwing this, I'm going around the going around that one that she just tapped. So she's probably going to play the double, but I'm not sure I have that in my bag with the double that's 4 feet or so apart. So I think I would be coming around the high one of the two. Well, if that's the right ice, it certainly hasn't lost any of its curl over the last number of games. If she's going around that, which I assume she is.
That's a massive amount of ice.
Yeah, it seems like a lot. You saw about 6 feet, and maybe a hair more than 6 feet, but.
So here's Nancy Martin with her first. Lot there trying now to bring it over, get every little ounce of that curl. It is getting a big finish, but not going to get quite enough.
No, good effort, nice weight, but I mean, just smidge heavy, but not bad. Just too much ice. I know you don't really want to tap the red one or the yellow one rather, but it's a little bit more than she certainly needed to have.
So here's Holland. Looking to hit and stick and put the force on. Done and done.
Yeah, you never really it's a fairly open and easy shot, but you never like throwing against 3 in the first end, no matter how easy the shot is. But good throw by Amber there. She still throws a really good stone.
Deanna Long. The lead holding the broom for the skipper.
Yeah.
And now Nancy Martin, final stone of the first. Looks just a hair soft out of their hand. They're on it right off the bat. Gonna hold on to it and stick. Right on down. Get there and hang around with no problem, and it's a single point in the board for Nancy Martin. It'll be Holland with the hammer when we come back from Martensville on Curling Stadium.
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Saskatchewan, you know SaskTel because we're everywhere. Because being everywhere keeps us connected to you. With SaskTel sponsorships, we get to be part of your community. We're here with you, and we're here for you. It's easy to get started. All you need to do is apply. SaskTel cares. Always has, always will. To apply for sponsorship, visit sastel.com/sponsorships.
Back here in the second end from Martensville. It's the Curling Stadium Martensville Invitational. Dave Schmel and Jim Nix were happy that you're here with us today. And it was a single point for Kathy Martin in the first end. And here's our first look at Amber Holland with the hammer.
Yeah, Team Holland played a good first end there. They held on to the advantage they got from that one really early miss and managed to force Nancy Martin to take one. Very long corner guard. We were discussing that yesterday. The corner guards that are that far on this ice with the amount of curl it has are other than looking a little threatening at times, they really aren't much of a factor. So we would like to have been a little deeper than that.
So clearly, Martin thinks there's a lot more curl on this side. Her team is taking more ice than our opponents, and this one is going to get center line adjacent, but not there, and on the ring, so removable for Holland.
Yeah, a little surprised that they actually swept that in. It sort of might have, at some point, realized that you were going to be pretty close and just let it stop just a couple inches short.
Makes that short run and does leave it as a corner guard. So Nancy Martin can't do anything about that quite yet. Electing to throw her own guard.
Yeah. Yeah, we were just talking a little bit about Nancy's background as far as things go, and she did play seniors apparently for the first time just 2023, so one season ago, then and lost the final actually at that senior, so a pretty good start in that category.
And also got to go to the Scotties.
Yeah, I went to the Scotties with Sherry Anderson, and not sure where they finished up, actually, to be honest. Don't have that in front of me, so. Amber Holland went to 9 Scotties. She has a couple stretches in her resume of keeping teams together for a while, and she won the Canadian Championship in 2011, lost the final at the Worlds that year, but that was at the tail end of a 7-year run with the identical team. You don't see that anymore for sure. And
oh, no, you don't. We know that.
Even back then, 7 years, a long time to hang in there. And that was from 2005 to 2012. So it took a while before they won it all, but they did win it eventually. So kudos to them for hanging in.
They removed the Martin rock there, leaving them all alone. And now Nancy, rather.
Yeah, a couple decent setup for the Holland rank here. You've got a really long corner and a little bit of a much tighter corner, but certainly something you can work with if you can get a roll or a miss and the draw sort of thing. And meantime, Nancy Martin definitely wants to hang around and preferably maybe roll behind one of these guards a little bit at least. Put a little bit of heat on. That should do it.
It's going to be underneath the long guard quite nicely.
Yeah, very good shot. It's probably not quite as difficult a shot as it looks like on the long shot here, just because it looks like it's dead buried, which it probably is. But the way the ice curls, I would suspect you can probably get right to it and then some if you have to.
Well, and they think that they'd like to at least, and hack weight is the indication.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see here. It looks like hack weight is, well, the long guard is so long, I guess, and she should be okay with that. I just thought it might overcurl with hack weight.
Coming down with a nice, easy weight shot here. Just got to get past that long guy, and you did not.
I think she could have went with a little bit more weight on that, Dave. I think that, you could have played that maybe at board weight so that it was just not quite as fine of a shot, and still would have got plenty of curl to get to it, but it does get rid of that corner guard at least. But you have hammer, you'd like those corner guards to hang around. Never really came close to getting by the guard, so it just kind of makes me think maybe just a hair more weight might have been the answer.
So here's Kits. See that delivery there with just that little bit of extension. And the long center guard is up.
Yeah, that extension is interesting. We used to teach it straight arm and no extension, get all the weight from the delivery basically, and then we kind of get into a small extension. Now, in a lot of cases, it's much more visible and much more real, really, as far as that extension goes. And if you can perfect it, it's really good. If you struggle with it a little bit, maybe it sometimes gets to be a little difficult throwing it at the broom, but shouldn't be a problem for these guys. Nice shot.
Very nicely done. It's going to poke its little head out there, though.
Yeah, pretty much the whole rock. It's just roll to the wrong spot.
So I imagine the conversation is how much weight here, and this looks to be, I would say, a solid bumper weight.
Yeah, I think so.
Jill Schmel. Sorry, wrong color. It's Shaylin.
Yeah.
Just papers their way past the guard. They got a cutesy roll under cover now.
Yeah, I can see Adriana here working this pretty hard to get it to move a little bit, kind of knifing it in there, and just gets it by. Might even have rubbed it here, I'm not sure. They used to say it rubbed on the backside of the stone. I never could quite figure that out, but worked out really well, though.
So now they're going to draw underneath cover, and had to go there. You never like to be under an opponent's rock, but that's the available cover. Trying to get the last little bit of curl on it without taking it too deep. Ends up right there on the tee line, well exposed. Now a real chance for Kathy Martin here, Jim.
Yeah, a definite chance to get a little hit and flop right behind the guard and be in a really good position. She's not taking very much ice. She must be probably throwing it, like you said a minute ago, probably that bumper weight or barrier weight if you're in the UK, I guess. But yeah, it's a real good opportunity here without Hammer to maybe force Hammer to a good shot for one.
Yeah, you hear that Scottish team yell out, "Barrier!"
Yeah, yeah.
First on the way for Martin. It's going to get the hit, not going to get the roll. It's going to sit right there.
Yeah, definitely not overthrown, so it doesn't go real crazy there, and just a smidgen away from being a perfect shot.
Might lend some credence to the very large amount of ice going in the opposite direction.
Yeah, true enough.
Generally, if it's curling a little bit more one way, it's probably going a little less coming back. I know that sounds simple, but we don't always listen to what we see.
Yeah. Yeah.
All part of the game.
Yeah, you got to have all the pieces or it just doesn't work.
So now here's Holland with her first of the second. Not really doing much on this. Now trying to push it over a little bit. Martin's going to have the same shot back. Either way you hit this, the force is on.
Exactly, yeah.
This there is, well, not a shot worth taking to get the blank.
Yeah, and yeah, blank's probably not happening, so you can risk a little bit on this shot, but you'd really like to roll just behind the guard. You just definitely like to roll is all for this shot.
So Martin's going to try to slam the door shut on this end. This is not light.
No, definitely not.
Just kind of making sure here. Hits it, sticks it, rolls the other way. This is a force all day.
Yeah, definitely did the trick. See, Amber's going to play the draw. Probably the right shot here because it's going to be really difficult to hit. That one actually rolled to a perfect spot as far as taking the hit away. Nobody wants to play a hit that they have to roll on versus drawing the 8-foot. So Amber's going to try to go ahead and just draw the 8-foot and for her single. Both teams with Hammer in these first two ends basically having to take one with their final shot.
Final stone of the second for Amber Holland. Looking to draw full 8.
Very nicely done.
And that's in the books. We're all tied up. We go to the third end. We'll be back right after this.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Join us this March for the House of Hearts Charity Bonspiel in Duluth, Minnesota. Help raise funds for Project Joy, who provides meals for hungry kids in our community. Every donation helps to ensure no child goes hungry. Join us and make a difference. Together, we can spread joy.
Third end coverage underway. Both teams with a single here. And we come to the third end. It's Nancy Martin with hammer. I apologize for the several times I said Kathy Martin. I have a good friend named Kathy Martin, and well, that just happened.
Yeah. Yeah, nice final stone by Amber Hall on the last end, just to draw the 8 foot, but it's only the second end, and one that you really got to bear down on, and really had no problem with it all. They put it right on the button for her, so well done. Both first two ends. We just mentioned before that first two ends, both teams have been forced to take one with hammer. Not the preferred thing for the hammer team, but nice job by the teams that didn't have it. So.
And another guard coming in here. Will this get up to the center? Just a little bit short.
Yeah, I mentioned last end about Nancy and playing seniors, and had me thinking about it. I don't know if I've just got the right name or not. All right, Nancy playing seniors, and Amber turned 50 this summer. So these two ladies could see each other in a provincial final pretty easily at some point this year.
Well, both have been playing very well as of late, for sure.
Yeah.
This one coming down from Lot. It's going to grab just a little piece right under cover.
Yeah, I didn't quite get over there, but pretty darn close.
Here's Sherry Singler. This needs to bend. Just catches a piece. Will they clear it out? Clear it out. Oh, I think it is just hanging on the side of the house there.
Yeah, it looks like it's got a little tiny bit of the 12 foot out there.
So, opportunity knocks for Martin.
Yeah, I gotta believe she'll go right around the guard on the right. Just when we look at it in long view.
Yeah, the
Nope.
called indication is to play the hit and roll there.
Yeah, sorry, I had my colors mixed up there for a minute.
This has got to hurry. It's got to hurry if it's ever going to get there, and it won't. He'll just graze on that guard and skitter away.
Yeah, didn't miss by much, but
all it takes. So Holland electing to go guard here.
yeah, it's interesting. Then obviously you could have an option of coming around that on the intern, or you could play a little tap if you want on your own. But for now, she's going to go ahead with the guard.
Biggest danger here is if this isn't a good one, you're going to give the Martin rank another crack at the apple.
Exactly, yeah. Well, there's a hole.
There is certainly a hole through there. I think you no harm in trying to take it on, because if nothing else, if you wreck, you're going to give yourself a better look at the 4 foot later, because you might end up in trouble.
Yeah, exactly. If you weren't playing this, you'd be playing some kind of appeal, so you can maybe get a little more out of it by getting through that hole.
So here's Lot trying to thread the needle. Got about 1.25 stones to do it. Got to come up a little bit. Right down the pipe and in. Great shot and well managed by the brushers.
Yeah, really nice shot. Couldn't really do much more than that. You couldn't, you think you'll see it again here. Like you could sweep it a little bit, try to hold it out there, but you got to clear that outside guard too. So there's not too much room. And you had to get through. Once it's that close, you have to get through.
Now we're coming right back at it. Anything you can do, I can do. This one needs to bend just a touch, get up, and get down, and it goes over the top. So that made shot and that exchange is net advantage Martin.
Yeah, that's a big miss here. We're a little tiny bit better than halfway through the end, and Nancy Martin with hammer has a chance here to maybe just get a little split, a little tap, set up a possible 3. Amber's going to have some opportunities to get out of it, but she's going to be under the gun a little bit.
Yeah, we're on Vice Rocks here. It's the first Vice Rocks.
Just chatting back and forth a little bit, just trying to settle, I think, on exactly what weight she's throwing.
And exactly where the broom goes to correspond with it, because you got this chance. You don't want to see it slip away here.
That's right. Yeah, very good opportunity here.
Long and Lot. This needs to settle down. It's cooking. How much does it cook? Now it's medium well.
Yeah, that's one of those that I'm not sure if this is exactly what's the problem there, but maybe a little tiny bit more communication on the weight there, and Nancy maybe plays a little different shot even. Like she hits that a little thinner and rolls behind the corner. She's in pretty good shape too. That was a little bit heavier, I think, than what they were planning for that shot because they were just obviously playing just to tap it to the forefoot, but not bad, but could have maybe been a little bit better. Amber looking like it might be a little wide here.
This is going to move for days, but you might get lucky on the way by. Catch a one in the back. Oh, almost. Very, very close. And now we have to see which biter is more biter-ish.
Yeah. It's pretty close, so I don't know if they would be able to tell just yet.
I don't even want to venture a guess at that one.
No.
Here comes trying to get that draw under cover. This is cooking also. Needs to grind in, want to be in front of the tee, and it does stop in time. And they sit 1, 2, and a half.
Yeah, very good shot. I think it's pretty tough for Amber to remove it. She just indicated she might just play the first thought, might just play a little freeze right down to it, which would make a deuce hard for Nancy if she makes it perfect. She hasn't got a whole lot else, so probably a good call here if she can sit this right on top of the red one.
More surveying of the biter.
Well, she just made a nice draw at the end of the last stand to score a point, so assuming everything's going to be the same going both ways and both sides of the sheet, then she should be pretty close to being able to make this one real good.
So here's Amber Holland. This one needs to come in. Taking the line now. Now, where is it going to end up? What's the depth? And down to the 12 foot. Can you drag it a little bit further? Right on top. Yes.
Yeah, very nice. Very nice. Perfect weight.
And right now, I think you need a acetylene torch to get them apart.
See what Nancy's looking at here is maybe a little bit of a bump, keeping your rock on a bit of an angle, but freeing up the backside. So if she bumps the red one back, maybe just to the tee line and sits at a 45-degree angle or so on the yellow, if she ever got the wrong, or got a partial miss, or Amber put a rock maybe not exactly in the right spot, she might be able to make some kind of an angle slash for multiple score. You hate to just have to take one here with two rocks to come, but she doesn't have a lot of room to work.
That's Nancy Martin trying to draw something up. I like your call.
Yeah.
I think it makes a lot of sense. Just move it up just a hair.
Yeah, I don't think, she tapped there back of the forefoot at one point. Excuse me. But I don't think she can get there. Later in the game, you might have to be a little bit concerned that Amber might play the run back to score, but I doubt she's going to do that in the third end. It could end up being a not beneficial move.
Yeah, you ever miss it and don't stick it right on there, it's...
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Oof. So Nancy Martin, with her first to the third on the way, looking to come on down into that lineup, just pushing just a touch, just a hair. Got to get past the guard first. Gotta get past it, and you're going to be on it all day.
Wow. Yeah, that's just not a very good shot, really. It just worked out really poorly. Just over curled on them, and
now it's not as simple as just hitting that out in line too, because then there's going to be some kind of shot back for a multiple score. So you see they're just drawing to the other side of the forefoot. What do you like, Jim?
Well, I think I'm playing the yellow one and just trying to make sure I roll off it. I don't sure I understand this shot. This shot looks to me to be pretty hard. I mean, the worry with playing the yellow is that you end up setting up some kind of a double, possibly for a couple, possibly three, depending on those outside biters.
Yeah.
But
that would tell me that they might think that the red biter is more firmly engaged.
Yeah, and I might agree with that too. That would make some sense to me. Just you're going to have to come really pretty close to that guard, I think, to be able to sit shot rock on this shot, but
hopefully Amber Holland is up to the task.
Yeah.
Her last to the third. Working it hard to hold it out there. Hard to get past the guard. All right, now you did. Now drive it over. Get into a good spot. And they will lie. Second shot.
yeah, interesting. I mean, I think it's a very good shot. I mean, but you're not shot, and
so I don't see anything other than just trying to make that draw better, unless you think
just
you
follow
can.
that right down. I think, and
yeah,
when you do that, you just
there's a great look at it. Red clearly shot.
yeah. Well, she's finally settled on that shot, which is what seems to me to be. I would probably take a little more ice in this. I think I'd be just throwing just a little bit past T line for weight here, and you only have to move it a couple inches. You don't have to move it very far, and you might not even have to move it. Well, I guess you probably got to move a little tiny bit just to make room for your shooter. But yeah.
So Nancy Martin, final rock of the third end, upcoming.
Amber kind of showed her the way on this shot, so she has something to go by.
Get all the way down to this yellow one and just move it a hair. Move it a hair to get a deuce.
Yeah, she's going to be on the guard.
Really tight on the guard now. Maybe you play as a raise instead.
It might.
May have been the call the whole time, but that's going to be onto the yellows, so it'll be a single point for Nancy Martin. It's 2-1 after 3. We'll be back from Martensville right after this. You're watching Curling Stadium.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed? More innovation?
It's gonna make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
This is it. It all comes down to this rock. The hours in the gym, the weeks away from my family. This is what I've been training for. And all those voices trying to tear me down, I'm here to silence them. We've given everything we have for a chance to get everything we want.
Back here in the fourth end. Martin was forced to a single point, and now it's Amber Holland with the hammer throwing the yellow stones. And we had a lot cooking that end, but nothing came to fruition.
Yeah, it was an interesting end for sure. Martin was in a pretty good position. Then Amber kind of took most of it away with her freeze on her first shot, and that made it really tough for Nancy to figure out how to get in there for a second point. And there wasn't a lot of room to work with. And then, Amber almost got shot on her second shot, but she kind of showed Nancy the way a little bit in there, but she just got a little bit lighter on her shot and overcurled and crashed the guard. So, yeah, just a battle of one so far with Hammer. See if that changes.
We get the top four. The corner guard goes up. This is the B qualifier game. Loser will fall to the C, and that has some work left to do.
And probably not a lot of time off.
A lot of great curling going on.
Yeah.
Guard coming on its way down.
Very nice.
Very well placed. Lined up well.
Yeah, it certainly hasn't been a lack of rocks in play to end up with just ones all the way here. There's been, the teams have been aggressive enough for sure, and just the team without Hammer just has made enough shots to make it rough for the team with Hammer. So
yeah, it's definitely been interesting, and it's been an interesting weekend for curling in general. We have a lot going on right now. Have the big event in Penticton and early action there. We have Jonathan Tao 1-0 over DeYoung. Yanagasawa 1-0 over Dangerfield. Park 1-0 over Brad Jacobs. Pierce 2-1 over Kleiter. Dunstone continuing his run of terror with a 2-1 lead in the fourth. And John Epping 3-1 over our own Ryan Jacks.
It is Ryan. Yeah, I didn't know if it was or not, but I figured it probably was. Didn't imagine.
Jakes, I did it now. Terry did that. Terry got me saying it.
Yeah.
Jake the Snake.
Yeah. I know he pronounced it Jakes. He mentioned that to me the very first game I did with him. So, yeah. Yeah, we have an East Coast here. I'm on the East Coast, and not an event that we cover, unfortunately, here on Curling Stadium, but Spiel in Halifax this weekend with most of the Atlantic teams are participating in. So the Dave Jones Memorial Spiel and Mayflower Curling Club. So everybody's having a good time down there. It's a good field.
Where is the Mayflower located?
It's in Halifax, right in Halifax. Mayflower, interesting story, actually. After we finish this shot, we'll
make the peel there, move their own in just a little bit closer.
Yeah, so this time next year, Mayflower will be curling out of a brand new eight-sheet club in Timberley, which is sort of call it a suburb of Halifax, a up-and-coming growing area with a relatively brand new golf course out there, a high-end golf course. And they sold their property in town. They're right in Halifax and got enough money to build a brand new club out in the suburbs, if you will.
That's fantastic to hear, especially when you hear about some clubs up there closing.
Yeah.
Most recently, the Brantford Curling Club, our own Terry Corbin's club.
So Nancy Martin looking pretty good here, Dave, in this stage of this end.
Yeah, they got one undercover, a long guard, and a really tight one. So I guess they're looking to pick the middle guard out here.
Yeah, I think that's a good choice. You might even be able to spin your shooter on or put it in a place where you might be able to use it as a run back after that. That really tight guard, the one that she's trying to move, is causing you a lot of grief as far as getting to the shot stone.
Delivery from Sherry Singler. Pass the top guy, and you are going to pick out that second one. And hold your shooter on the rings. Yes, you will. Nice outcome there.
Yeah, she didn't end up with any great angles to get to the rock in the forefoot, but still a good shot.
So Martin's going to try to put it right on back. One's coming on up nicely. The line is fantastic on it.
Perfect.
And that is dead buried. It might be long enough that you can come around the intern side and come at it. We see the indication there to maybe corner freeze. Split those guys on. Lots of choices. What's your favorite?
Well, I think I like the intern to sit on the corner of the red one. The last shot she called is interesting and has some possibilities where she was looking at maybe splitting the yellow one that's almost on the 12-foot. What it would do for you would probably, if you can get the right angles and you can get the right roll, you could end up with a yellow on each side that were both runnable, if you will, at maybe a 45 or so degree angle to the shooter. So that's a possibility. I don't think you can get to it right now. So it's I think at the end of the day, she'll end up throwing an in turn. And you could go around the red one and actually be shot at the back of the button, but you have to do an absolutely perfect call on that shot. Don't think you can squeeze through there on the out turn. Might be able to. It does curl hard.
As it stands right now, you could play off your own, but you'd lose it in the process.
Yeah, I think that's one that, at the end, if you haven't got a shot, that you might play. It looks like she's going... Okay, we better wait till she puts down the broom in the real spot here. Well, it doesn't really help me. I'm not quite sure what she's playing here. Unless she's throwing this. Could be throwing some kind of peel on this, I guess. Or she's playing something with the board weight through that hole. I'm not sure. We'll have to wait to see, I guess.
Here's Schmel. On it quietly. Trying to work it over. Move around just a little bit. Needs to curl up a touch to get that split. Now roll it to the other side. Okay, you push yourself to be second pretty solidly.
Yeah, you've got enough. You've managed to put some thoughts in Nancy's head for sure, because she's she has to be a little bit careful here. If she doesn't remove something, and she's going to try to, obviously, but if she opted not to do that and you ever made that angle raise takeout, it would be for a big score. So she's going to play, I think, the hit and roll on this one.
Here's Kitts staring it down. And delivers her second. On it pretty much right out of her hand. Catch it in the right place and get a pretty good roll out of it. It is exposed, however, but that's a tight port.
I think yellow's still number 2, but a very good shot. Kedriana Lott's pretty good sweeper. It's watching her now for a couple of games, and very good.
So now Holland electing to play that corner freeze that you liked earlier.
Yeah, I don't think she has a lot of choice right now, but
this has got a long way to go.
It might go right around it.
Well, might be a good idea to make sure it's good doing that now. Oh, we just got a little rub and left it out there.
Yeah, you know what? That would have been. It's hard to make that call, to be honest, but at the same time, it would have been really good if it doesn't touch that. It would have been shot rock and at least half to 2/3 berry. But like I say, that's a tough plan B to call when you don't have a lot of room to work with.
So now Martin with a chance to lie too. Not taking a whole lot of ice here, so.
No, I know. I'm that's just obviously a personal preference. So she must like to throw it firmer than the in between weights because, yeah, you look at this, it just doesn't look like a logical weight to throw on this shot to me. It's
got to hit it first now.
Yep.
It's going to catch it and lose the shooter, which may have been the intention the entire time, but I had to think you would prefer to get the flop.
Yeah, I think you're right that it was like thinking hit it first and then we'll deal with it after. But I think you have a chance there to maybe to put even a little bit more heat on Holland. But you know, who knows? If you hit it with soft weight and you only roll a foot out to the outside, then you might give her a double to sit too. So it might have been the best result after it by the time it's all said and done, anyways.
And Braden, thank you for letting us know that we have the sub at third for Morton. That's Skylar Ackerman.
Oh.
Much appreciated. And you're welcome. It's our pleasure to call these games for you. We try to make it interesting, a little fun along the way. And we wouldn't be able to be here without you guys. So if you haven't done it yet, like and subscribe. They'd like this one to get there all the way, past the first card, past the second one, right up to the beak. Another beautiful frozen rock.
Yeah, Amber has a real good handle on draw weight right now. It's 3 draws in a row that she threw perfect weight on. That one's, she, again, probably would have preferred that it didn't curl quite so much. She would have loved to have sat that on the outer edge just so that she could play a little tap on it with her next shot. But, and she's looking at the possibility she might play the run on that yellow, and definitely something worth looking at because it's relatively risk-free, I think, for Amber to throw that if it was still available.
Welcome to our friends literally watching us from the other side of the world. Yeah. I believe that's Japanese there, so in that case, good morning in Ohio.
Does Ohio have much for curling facilities or anything at all, Dave, in Ohio?
Ohio, yes.
Yeah.
I was saying hello in Japanese to our fan.
Oh,
but yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
but yes, we have facilities in Ohio. We have one.
So it's just Ohio to all our curlers in Ohio. Okay, gotcha.
Now it's a facility in Bowling Green, also one in Columbus, both and Cincinnati, all very recently built. So
good.
And the Mayfield Curling Club just built a new facility, moving out of the country club. So that's 4 right off the top of my head.
Oh wow, that's good.
This
She has to be careful where she sits this one.
It's got to be deeper than that. Okay. Just got far enough, I think.
Well, yeah. Other than the fact she's sitting 2 and not 1 anymore, I think she's possibly have made Amber Holland's shot a little bit easier. Not a lot. She can't afford to be 6-8 feet heavy, but if she's just a little bit above what she wants to throw for draw weight, I think she's given her a bit of an out.
Well, you had to be either really high or really deep there, I would think.
Yeah, and that's the hard part. You inevitably get caught in between. It's amazing how often that happens.
So now it'll be a draw for a single Final stone away for Amber Holland. Just needs to get a good piece of the button. She's had a good lock on draw weight. This one coming in nicely. It's going to be a little tight to the guard, but that is no problem whatsoever. And it's still a battle of paper cuts here. 2-2 after 4. We'll be back from Martensville right after this.
For over 20 years, the Sandra Schmel Foundation has granted more than $9 million to hospitals across Canada for life-saving equipment for premature and critically ill babies. In the past 4 years alone, $4 million has been granted thanks to the curling community's incredible generosity. The need continues year-round, and with your help, we can ensure every baby has the chance to grow up and become a champion, just like Sandra.
SaskTel Be Kind Online wants to stop cyberbullying. Want in on the action? We award up to $1,000 for youth initiatives that help spread kindness and prevent bullying. What great idea do you have to help stop bullying? SaskTel can help. Go to BeKindOnline.com and apply for a grant today. Together, we can make a difference.
Was in it.
Back here in the fifth end of play, it's all tied up. And we've seen no shortage of rocks in play, but only single points.
Yeah, and interesting that it certainly looked like for most of that end that it was going to be Martin that was going to end up maybe stealing one and just breaking the trend, not of singles, but at least of the hammer scoring one every time. But Nancy's last shot, and the game can be so tough sometimes, you know. She threw a almost perfect shot. It goes maybe a foot deep or a foot not deep enough sort of thing, and gave Amber just a little bit of backing for a draw, which I don't even know if she needed it. She's been locked in so much on draw weight right now that she probably would have made it perfect, but it just gave her that little bit of backing where she could just add a little bit of wiggle room with draw weight, and she made a perfect shot, and they swept it perfectly to the button for one.
So after seeing that locked-in draw weight for 4 ends, does it ever get into Nancy's head to maybe try to challenge Amber to a hit at some point?
Yeah, I'm sure it is. It's hard to do that. I think you can sometimes do that a little bit at the end, but she could have probably done something there where she might have thrown a guard or something, but she would have left Amber that. She would have forced Amber to play maybe the angle raise takeout, which would have maybe been for more points. And you know, sometimes you just can't do that. We talk about that a lot, trying to do that, but forcing the other team to play some way or other. But it's just so hard. The game develops with the rules now, and with 5 rocks not being able to be removed, really, and it's just tough to do. So I'm sure she'll think about it at some point, because she's seen Amber now make 4 draws in a row or something like that have been absolutely perfect T-line weight. So she doesn't want her throwing that one to beat her at the end of this one.
So now with the staggered guards up, do you think Martin ducks in again?
Yeah, I would for sure. Yeah.
It's going to be the draw.
Yeah.
I like this call.
Yeah, me too. I think you got to go in there, and you know, if Amber throws one in on top of you somewhere that you don't love, you'll be in a spot then that you can peel those guards off if you desire, and she probably would.
That wraps around nicely. Now if they can just drag it all the way up to it, be a pretty good outcome, and that's not bad at all.
Yeah, very nice throw. Two very nice throws by Deanna.
And we're going to get in this little cat and mouse of angling up draws here.
Yeah. Yeah, both these skips have certainly played the game long enough to, not find the moment a little too tough to deal with and get a little excited, and they know what they got to do to score and prevent the other team from scoring too many. So
this one needs to simmer down. Maybe go right around now if you can. Yeah, set shot back there.
Yeah, interesting. It was like up until the last couple of feet, it was almost an identical replay to the last game on that one shot that just rubbed. Almost the same rock positions and everything.
Yeah. Indicating to get to it with back line weight, you can certainly get there.
Yeah.
I think that ice is probably for just a touch more than back line weight. Get really tight, and they do wreck.
Yeah, I think I'd like to see Nancy just widen out the broom a little bit on some of these shots. It's just tough. It's tough to know when you're looking there, and I'm sure that go through there. If I was throwing there, I'd go through my head as like I don't really know that I can throw the weight that's called and make the shot. So if you just give it where it's going to come pretty good, just maybe a couple inches more ice, and the thrower maybe gets a little more comfortable with it too. So I don't know, that might be totally wrong, but that's what would go through my head a little bit anyways.
This one's working its way down. That'll be another guard.
Yeah, they didn't really need another guard, so that's not super helpful, that one, but gives Martin's team a chance at that to get to that back one. Sherry's not too happy with that result.
It's always tough to give players at this competitive level a second crack at it.
Yeah.
Oh. Need to be on that a little bit more.
Yeah, that was it's a tough miss.
So now with that cover there, I think you give Amber Holland a real opportunity to maybe consider a steal here.
Well, yeah, she's shot rock now, and she was shot rock maybe, but she's shot rock and drawing to sit two and puts it just the top of the button, and it's going to be tough for Nancy to work with that.
And right about here, it usually takes that curl. This one looks like it has the weight. Maybe just a pound or two too much, though. And we're going back and forth here, buddy.
Yeah, we are. There's just kind of giving it back, and most of those last two shots were were certainly more beneficial for the opposition than for the team throwing them. Yeah, the worst part about that shot really is the fact that you were shot. If you were ever, if you want to have a pro side miss there, you're missing that rock short. And, definitely not being in there. So it's, it's just the wrong way to miss that one.
Asking Skylar Ackerman to take a look here. And that's what she could see.
Yeah, there's lots of room to make the double, no question about it. I think the question here is, where do you want to roll with the shooter? Are you're trying to get underneath there, or are you trying to just be removing those rocks and maybe even rolling a little bit off to the wings? Martin with hammer in this end. What you don't want to do is you don't want to end up sitting right there again. You hit this right on the nose, and you're going to give Amber Holland's team a chance to really get out of this end. Excuse me, having said that, this nose hit's usually way easier when you don't want it.
Key shot here from Skylar Ackerman with her first in the fifth. Throwing just normal weight. Coming on down. Have to hurry to get the double. If it crosses the face, you're only going to pick off one. And that's what you do.
Pretty good shot, but you have left that pocket. You have left that button really for the Holland team. And if she can make a good shot here, it's going to be in there for a while.
Schmel with an opportunity to get her team out of trouble. Needs to curl on in and get to that pocket. Now don't lose it on the guard. Don't lose it. You just get by. And there you are. What a great shot by the third.
Yeah, really, really nice shot. And I was gritting my teeth there a little bit at the end when it got close to the red one, but just snuck it by. It had to be almost that close to be useful, so great shot.
So we're going to see how many of these Skylar can make fly. I don't expect this to be light.
She's going to get one only, I think.
One and only one. Seemed to just set it a little bit with the extension.
Yeah. Too bad, really. She had a bit of an opportunity to cause some real damage in the front there and move a lot of rocks, and at the very least move at least a couple of them.
So another guard, or just plunk another one on there?
I would be inclined to throw a guard here. I think, I'm just trying to think here where it ends up if you end up coming right in. Never showing it. She's been right on for weight. I just would hate to rub off this at all and give Nancy an out that right now she doesn't really have. So I think I'm throwing a guard. We'll see if she is. She's had draw weight so well that she may well just be going right on top of it. And they've thrown it a number of times, but I think I'd be going guard.
So Amber Holland, sitting one, looking to cement the advantage here in the fifth. And it is indeed the guard.
Yeah, pretty much exactly where she called it. And she just used the broom telestrator there to indicate that where everything's going to go. Just doesn't stay on the screen very long.
Yeah, it's going to go yellow, yellow, onto the red, onto the yellow. Losing one in the back. Nothing but net.
Okay. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I'm not positive which shot she's throwing. I think she's going to throw the double peel, but she's coming at it from a bit of an odd side to me.
A little speed wobble there.
Yeah.
On the way. This is going to be close to what she wanted. On the first one, on the second one, oh, it just misses the red. Almost got exactly what she wanted. But it did change the landscape.
Yeah, it did for sure. There's and we're just going to have to be cautious with this guard, get it in exactly the right place. The nice thing for the Holland team is that yellow one, as long as they can guard the red, that yellow one's going to be really hard to remove. You know, maybe you can run something into it, but it's just going to be tough.
Assuming the guard is good here,
yeah,
I'd be inclined to just throw it in the boards and take the hammer into 6.
Yeah, and then she may well do that. It's pretty hard to run. There's the yellow one at the top right hand side as we look at it on the long screen would be probably the better easiest shot for Nancy to maybe score, but would be really dangerous as well.
And Holland drops the guard right on the broom. And they're going to take a look at it, but I'm pretty sure they're going to say, well, 1 yellow.
Yeah, it's interesting. She's thinking about it.
The problem with any one of these crazy shots is that if you mess it up, you could give up a multiple steal here.
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, I think you could play the one that's right on the center line with, and just don't hammer it down there. Just throw something in that board weight kind of a shot, and shouldn't cause yourself too much grief, I don't think, but it is still risky. I don't think that shot is even there. This one here, you're never gonna get to the other yellow one, I don't think. And I don't think you're ever playing the long yellow rays either, because that's really dangerous. So
the yellow there, that's a 3 guard.
Yeah.
Onto your own red.
Yeah.
Onto the corner of it, push it just off a little bit, and maybe get your deuce that way.
Yeah. Or at least score that way. Like I don't see any other way to score. So let me say the shot looks like she's probably going to play this, but it's off of this yellow one on the left here as we look at it. But I just don't think it's there. The only way it might be there is if you could hit that and come across, maybe hit the lower half of the red and drive the red onto the back yellow. It's going to sound convoluted, and have it just bounce up a little bit.
Yeah,
So
that's what I see.
Yeah.
I mean, if you could ever throw like a 4.5, 5-second rock at it,
Yeah.
you might actually be able to score 3 that way.
Yeah. You're going to have to convince me on that one, bro. It's okay. We'll see what she gets here.
Well, if the angles turn out right, I think I can tell you that was possible.
Okay, yeah. If you had about 15 more degrees, I think you could convince me for sure. I just don't know if it's quite there, but we'll see. Whoa.
Big extension. Try to get that huge weight. Got to give it a run at least.
Oh.
On the one. Over. Did you score? No, it's a steal of 1. But what a great effort by Nancy Martin, and she'll take the hammer. Take another look at this.
Yeah, you'll see this come down the outturn. She gave it a pretty good shove out there, and it's going to make contact with the rock that they were trying to do, and got it about as good as you could get it. Really, it's without, like you say, being able to throw it at another speed kind of thing. So it's a good run.
All right, and Martin will have the hammer in 6 when we come back.
Don't forget your brooms.
Yep, you got it.
Come on up. Okay, well, what do you got? You got 1, you got 2, you got...
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Saskatchewan, you know SaskTel because we're everywhere. Because being everywhere keeps us connected to you. With SaskTel sponsorships, we get to be part of your community. We're here with you, and we're here for you. It's easy to get started. All you need to do is apply. SaskTel cares. Always has, always will. To apply for sponsorship, visit sastel.com/sponsorships.
Back here in the 6th end, it's a steal 1 for Amber Holland. But what a run that Nancy Martin took at that last one.
Yeah, really, really good effort. It was almost dead flat, but she threw it out there and threw it hard and came within just a whisker of making it. That's for sure. It did mess up a pattern.
Ones. Yeah, training the ones.
Yeah. First time somebody has scored without hammer, and good timing for the Holland team to do so.
So, Durdal puts it right there on the center line. Don't have to get the quick square out for that one.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with the first rock that end. That they must have hogged it or thrown it through.
So some talk on where they want to go here.
Yeah, it's a lot of discussion with everything seemed to be directed towards to come around the yellow one. So that's what I would expect. You could go wide around the high high red one, but the red one's so long again that we've talked about numerous times. It's just almost not in play. Martin really would like to score 2 points in this end, despite the fact nobody scored 2 yet. She'd really like to do that in this end, and if she could, then she would be she'd be in pretty good control going to the last couple ends. Oh, it's not going to help too much, so just back there in no man's land.
So now Holland's going to get a chance to throw a better one here. Looking to come right to the top of the 4-foot is Sherry Singler. This one is a touch heavy too. Comes right on back to the Martenstone.
Yeah, neither one of these teams really wants to play behind the tee line right here, but sometimes that's just what happens.
Things my early opponents, when you're playing against a more experienced skip, they yell at you for.
Yeah.
And now I'm that crotchety old man.
Well, somebody's going to put one above the tee line here.
Oh, we're waving whoa again. Might not be time for it quite yet, I guess. Now this one's digging in. This has got a legitimate shot. Will it stop? Yes, it will.
Yeah, that's perfect, that one.
She's a little happier about that one there. She said, I told you I could do it.
Yeah. So make sure the peel on this one, don't get too fancy with this. Just make sure that there's nothing out front when it's done.
That will accomplish that task. I have a feeling we're going to be playing this game for a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So as we're waiting for that card, let's see what's happening around the curling world here. We have a final score. De Jong defeated Tal from Alberta by a score of 8-3. Yana Gasawa with a solid lead, 7-2 over Dangerfield. That's in the 7th. Park, 3-1 over Brad Jacobs in the 6th. Marcus Kleider, 7-5 lead on Pierce in the 7th. And it's 5-3 in favor of Dunstone in the 8th. And John Epping has a 7-2 lead over Ryan Jakes.
Yeah, a couple teams there that are having some interesting trends. Epping certainly in the last 4 to 5 weeks has had some good results and much better effort, as to be expected after starting the year with a brand new team and having to get a little bit used to each other. So And Jacobs is kind of a little bit along the same path with Cooey. Not so much, but he's losing more games lately than we expect him to lose.
Yeah, something you definitely have to pay attention to. You know, every team goes through their ups and downs, but getting to the point of the season where you have to start putting it together, even though it's still early.
Yeah. Good effort there. Pretty close to making that.
Card coming back up.
Yeah, I was just reading a little bit about Jill Schmel. I didn't realize that she did win a provincial championship back in 2013 as a skip in Saskatchewan, and she also had a birthday 3 days ago.
Well, happy birthday, Jill.
That might be far enough for Nancy to be able to get to it. I just don't know if you're going to want to, but
it's all a matter of how bold you want to be.
Yeah.
Now this would, in order to do that, would need that quieter weight unless you're just going to corner freeze it now.
Yeah, they just aren't quite sure yet. Going to throw the draw.
So here's Skylar Ackerman.
This looks a little bit heavy. Yeah, it's not a good time for that one.
No, not indeed.
It's tough. You look at the Martin team; they got 3 rocks here at the back, all together at the back of the 12, back of the 8 foot rather, and that's not a good sign when you're trying to manufacture a couple of points here. Martin's in a little bit of trouble here for sure in this scene.
And Holland, she's been so good with that draw weight. Trying to make a good one here.
Yeah, I would expect this to be close.
That's pretty good.
I don't know if she has a lot of choice here today, but other than to play the intern draw and try to come a little bit behind that one at the top of the button, maybe get half a rock buried, and then you're going to have the same shot on your next one.
With that guard being so long, is you think the out turns there?
Around the red one. Yeah, you know what? Possibly. It's just I'm trying to think which way we were going when we saw Amber Holland. Was it Amber that threw or Nancy that threw the out-turn draw around the guard earlier that almost got to?
It was Nancy.
Yeah, almost got there, which I didn't think it would be able to. So here it's, I think you might be able to do that. I think this is a shot, though. I think it's an in-turn draw down here. The only other shot really that could be possible would be that run back. But if you don't make it, then you're not even going to have a shot on your next one for sure. So you got to get rid of everything.
So key shot here for Nancy Martin with her first in the sixth. Needs to bear down and make a good one here.
This is not going to do the trick for sure. Just going to clutter it up a little bit more. And
did not want to do that for sure. So it's Holland lying first and second, but with Shotstone being right up there at the button.
Yeah, you might see Amber come right around that red one on the in-turn and just try to be top of the 4-foot. Yeah, somewhere right about there, and take this draw away because the draw is probably there right now still for Nancy. It's not easy, but I think it's still there. It certainly is not in the way of drawing to the button, that red rock. So, but you can pretty well take everything away with this shot. We might force Nancy to go to that out turn that we were talking about and hope to find some curl at the end of that to make that one.
Nancy Martin looking on there and realizes the inevitability. It's going to be a tough one with her last.
Yeah.
Final stone for Holland. Gets around there, no problem. Might be a little bit heavy, and that might just give Nancy a chance here.
Well, you know what? It's just amazing to me. It's just, Amber, who has been perfect with draw weight. I mean, just giving Nancy back the same shot that she gave to her the in before, and not an easy. Don't get me wrong. No, not an easy shot for sure, but that rock, if anything, is a little bit helpful.
So Nancy Martin with her final stone in the 610 needs to get at least half the button. Ackerman and Lott.
You don't want to oversweep this thing.
Just saw the first one go light. Now this one needs to turn. Put the blinker on and turn in. And it's not going to get there. And that's going to be a steal of 2 for Amber Holland. She takes a 5-2 advantage. Heading into end number 7. We'll be back from Martensville prior to this.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Join us this March for the House of Hearts Charity Bonspiel in Duluth, Minnesota. Help raise funds for Project Joy, who provides meals for hungry kids in our community. Every donation helps to ensure no child goes hungry. Join us and make a difference. Together, we can spread joy.
We're back here in the 7th. It's Amber Holland with a 5-2 lead over Nancy Martin. And we are talking offline in between the ends there about the need to communicate there.
Yeah, it's really hard, and certainly don't mean to be too critical in a way, but Amber gave you back a little bit of an opportunity there to Nancy that Nancy gave to her the end before, and I think that was part of the problem in the sense that the sweepers maybe in their mind still had a chance, thought they could get to the back one, but you've got to go back and forth on those all the way down the sheet to make sure that you not only get there, but you get the curl, because it doesn't do you any good to get there if you don't get the curl. So, unless you're absolutely positive as a sweeper that that's light, you gotta be listening to the third, and hopefully the third's letting you know what they gotta let you know. So, we don't hear it. So to be fair, like we're not hearing that, but it seemed like there was a little bit of miscommunication, because it definitely ended up being overswept just a little bit, but just a little bit is all it took on that shot. So, unfortunately, it ends up being a steal for two on a pretty well thrown rock. Nancy Martin now has certainly a work cut out for her to kind of to get back in this one. She needs a couple here at minimum. So.
Of course, Amber Holland's going to try to make sure that's not an easy task. Here's the stone on the way from Deanna Long.
Pretty good shot there. Still a little bit open, but pretty good shot.
You surprised it didn't go double guard there?
I'm surprised they didn't do something like that. Yeah, for sure. I don't think I'm coming around this guard, because if I get around this guard and make it really good, then they're going to peel the guard, and I don't want them to peel that guard. So I would go some sort of a double guard on that, I think. If I was going to come in, I think I would have came around the center one just to take to play away from that corner. But it's early. Lots of things can happen yet.
Well, what's going to happen first is they're going to come down to this rock that was just thrown and kill it.
Yeah. We'll see what Nancy does here. She's getting 10 on going in. I don't think this is good. I just think it's it's going to be really tough to score two. That guard's so long, as you said. It's no matter how good you make this, I think it's definitely a gettable rock. And I don't know if gettable is a word, but it isn't curling, I think.
It's definitely a word.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Able to be gotten. Gettable.
Okay.
See also, there all day.
Yeah. This is a little more, not quite.
Yeah, just a millimeter further under.
Yeah, and you can see on the last one how much, she went by the guard by a ton and really still got enough of that rock to get it out and stay. So I don't know that you can put this somewhere where it can't be hit.
And of course, the tolerance would be to wreck the guard anyway, so you can be aggressive with this. And well, we're going to use that tolerance. Well, now there's nowhere to hide. Unless you try to throw a better guard. I think almost you have to.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're still early enough in the end that you've got to do that for sure. And you got to make sure this guard doesn't over curl. So if you do anything, at least make her have to come around on the out turn to, if she's going to make a play on it, because you got 2 or 3 catchers on that side. I just think to me, it looks like ice that is going to have the rock over curl a little bit.
So here goes Lot.
Pretty good depth and pretty good location. So really good shot. And obviously she had the ice pretty much right there. So that's good. You have to remember when you're playing this, for everybody too that's out there that wonders what to do sometimes, the other team is going to be quite happy to give you 2. So you're trying to figure out a way to turn that into 3. But at the same time, you don't have to do anything spectacular here to get a 2 if 2 is your goal.
Every yellow stone that has been thrown is still in play someplace.
Yeah. I think I'm still guarding in this shot.
I think you have to.
Yeah.
Nancy is contemplating coming in, and that's what she's going to do.
Yeah. Problem here is you're going to be just holding or whatever, just hanging on to the fact that she doesn't make a double against you. And I just think it's probably at least 1 rock too early to go in the house with this.
So the first on the way for Skylar Ackerman. This one looks like it wants to be on the guard.
It definitely is, yeah.
Gonna raise your opponent.
Yeah, she needed it. It's just really light, dead light, so you'd have back 8 on that.
So just come and get this one now.
Yeah.
Where's the perfect roll, or you just want to hit it on the beak?
I think hitting right on the nose is perfect, I think.
Curls up just a little bit right to the beak, and Jill Schmel makes it go away.
Well, the one thing for Nancy, though, she does have something to work with here. She can certainly come around that, and the same shot she just played, really. I think that's the only shot. Just that in turn around there. I don't see playing that. You're just gonna possibly leave a double. Just go ahead and get right in there. Skylar just had one whack at it, so she should have a pretty good feel of what she needs for weight on this one.
Waiting for a brush to return after the quick little conference call with the skip. And another crack at the apple here to make this draw. I think the weight's there. This needs to curl a bundle. Carve it over. And that is heavy. That's another one Skylar probably wants back.
Yeah, that was a struggle then, and just unfortunate.
So now a real chance for Holland. If she can make this draw, it's going to be a tough time for Nancy Martin.
I didn't realize Skylar Ackerman won the 2024 Saskatchewan Scotties last year as a skip.
I knew that name sounded familiar more than from watching Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
This is a little light. They want to go a little further than that. Okay. Nancy Martin. Draw one around. Draw a second one around. This is your task.
Yeah, unfortunately, you have two in the house, but they're number 6 and number 7, so they're going to be hard to bring into play. I think you don't have a choice but come around.
Need a small piece of field artillery to make that happen.
Yeah, I was trying to think at first. I thought if the back one, it was maybe just closer, a little closer to the 8 foot, you might play the double and say, well, we may with a little bit of luck be able to bring that into play, but there's just no way. There's too many rocks to move to get to there.
Now, if you don't think you could draw, you could probably skid her in off the one that's on the left of the overhead as we can see it. But
yeah,
I think throwing the intern's a way to go here.
Yeah, got to get out there a ways.
And the broom goes out there a ways. So Nancy Martin, pretty much a do or die shot here.
Yeah, it really is. Amber came up a little bit light on that one, but if you give her another crack at it, she's going to probably bury it in there pretty good, and you may not be able to score. Never mind, score more than one. But you do have a chance, a good chance here for Skip Stoos if you can make this one.
Okay. Visualizing the shot. Very important when you're facing 5 right now. And Nancy Martin with their first of the 7th. working this hard. Now, that looks light. And it is. Just got out into that fresh stuff there. And
yeah, she had to go out so far, and it would have taken a very, very fortunate guess on weight to make that shot.
so there's 2 shots to score 1. You throw that draw and, well, it's probably still there and just make it. Or loop all the way around on the outturn side.
Yeah, if depending on where Amber puts this, if she takes everything away there, Nancy can get her 1 point by playing the double on the 2 front ones. You gotta hit it in the right spot so that you get enough of the 8 foot to score. But that's definitely possible. It's you hit it somewhere, maybe a quarter of a rock, and you're going to get both rocks and move, and your shooter will go forward a little bit, as you can see there. So it's not easy, but it's definitely there. That might be what Amber's doing here, is just really trying to take that away. Or I think she's playing the bump on her own. Right now, Nancy has a hard shot to score. You don't want to make it easier is all.
Amber Holland with her last of the 7th. Just looking to bring hers up a little bit. Don't want to let it over curl too much and make it easier. Just come on up and you move it up. Oh, just about 2 feet, and that's not too bad. Now that double's a lot harder now.
Yeah, for sure. No, it was a really good shot. Really good judgment on the ice, and the way ice weight combination there was not easy. And you'll see this comes in. They just swept it just enough to hold the line so it didn't over curl, and got about a 2 foot bump, 3 foot, whatever that is, about 2.5 foot bump, and it's perfect, really. Amber's been great on, other than maybe one draw, Dave. She's had that kind of weight in her back pocket in this whole game.
Oh, absolutely, Jim. And here, Nancy Martin staring at 6.
That's a lot.
Not the best colored commentator in curling for nothing, buddy. Final rock at number 7. Somewhere into the 4 foot. Any little piece of it will probably do. Just get to the 4. Now, you got the line. Is the weight right? Carve it over. Can you get it to come over and grab just a little piece of the 4? Will it spin?
Not quite.
Oh, I think it's still a steal 1.
Yeah, too bad. That was a heck of a throw for Nancy in that situation, and especially after her first one really didn't give her much of a, she had to guess so much at that first one. It's hard to get any read off of that. So
that's a steal 1. Makes the score 6-2 in favor of Amber Holland. And we'll be back after this.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed? More innovation?
It's gonna make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like 1 more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
This is it. It all comes down to this rock. The hours in the gym, the weeks away from my family. This is what I've been training for. And all those voices trying to tear me down, I'm here to silence them. We've given everything we have for a chance to get everything we want.
Grand games.
Action here in the 8th end. It's Nancy Martin staring down an impossible dream here, trailing 5-4 here in the 8th end.
Yeah, it's rare that you're going to make that up for sure, but and especially when the first one goes in the house. So going to be tough. Yeah, last end, just unfortunate for the Martin team. They just couldn't get the weight down. They were just, everything they were throwing was just that little bit heavy, and those rocks, as we all know, you just can't use them much when they're at the back, and they had a problem at the back. Nancy came within just about an inch or so of making that one, though, so good effort for her, but they're in tough here now.
Certainly one heck of an effort, and it came really, really close. I thought maybe it might corkscrew up with the last little rotation, but it wasn't to be.
No, you're right. Sometimes you get that, even though you've already kind of gone past a little bit the edge of the forefoot there, so you get that little spin back, and it's just enough to count.
So what's the playbook for scoring 4?
Ooh. Well, you're obviously going to throw a couple corners, and then you're going to do a lot of praying and wishful thinking.
And put it in your beverage order.
Yeah, it's tough. I'm sure it's happened. Well, it happened to me once in the provincial mix when I gave up 4 in the last end to lose, but other than that, it doesn't happen very often in competitive play for sure. But all you can do with the 5 rock rule is you get a lot of rocks out there and then see what can happen, you know.
Stranger things have happened.
They have, I'm sure.
Heard of people giving up 6.
Yeah, that's a south of the border thing, I think. But yeah, it does happen.
This one goes through. Do we have? We do have a Mexican curling federation.
Yeah, well, they have them all everywhere, man. It's like it is amazing nowadays where there's curling federations.
Some friends of mine just represented Puerto Rico for the first time in the World Mixed.
Oh wow! I know a couple of years ago that Canada did play against Brazil for entrance to the Worlds or something at one time. Some university students in Montreal put in a team, so that was odd.
We have a Kenya Curling Federation now.
Yeah, I met those guys and have a T-shirt from them from, well, no, not from there, from Nigeria. I think it was the guys I have met down in Denver, actually.
It's just a matter of arithmetic now. And, well, there's your first half shot.
Yeah, it's if you were down 2, that'd be really helpful, but
unfortunately you're down 4 and
yeah.
Sorry.
Just thinking this one out pretty hard, but it's at this point I think you're just you can throw one more guard up there if you want. Would probably be not an unwise thing to do. Just if you ever get a miss on a peel or something, then go around it and you'll get to at least put 2 more in. So you might get to the point where you're sitting 3. Just don't know if you can get to the point of sitting 4. girls did a good job of getting that over there. That was, they had to take that one hard.
And we'll move to rip the guard immediately.
Best case scenario for Martin here is that she would hit this right on the nose and stay right there and jam dead on the other one.
This will be appeal successfully made. Looking to be half undercover here, maybe 3/4.
Yeah, I think that's all you want. You don't really want to bury this one. You want to have it at least be in the line of sight for the thrower on the Holland team on the next shot.
So here's Skylar Ackerman. And that one is too heavy. And gotta hang on at the back.
Yeah. Yeah, Skylar just can't find that draw weight right now. And I don't think she's been playing a lot. It sounds like she's really just kind of maybe doing a spare thing this year from what I was reading. And could be wrong on that, but that's what it appears anyways. She focuses on school.
And what does your wealth of knowledge say that she's studying?
Well, it said that, she's going to be, her patients are going to love her. So I think she's going to be in the medical profession. I don't know if she's trying to be a doctor or a nurse or something like that. So it's going to be one of those.
So hit and stick there, and Nancy Martin's going to try to lay one underneath there. Still has 3 stones left.
Yeah, a little, just draw right around that, or sit. You could sit right on the yellow one, dead on if you want. If you can make it perfect, it might be hard to remove.
They see the proper score there, 6-2. So they need to score 4 to tie. All 3 of these upcoming are going to have to close. Count.
Yeah, looks like she's found the draw weight. I want to vary this. I don't know. I would have wanted to vary that. I think I'm going to go to the trouble of playing this in. I want to make sure that we make it as good as we can make it, because get it right behind the guard, and Amber probably peels the guard. You draw somewhere to sit 3, and she at least has to make contact on her last one.
Well, you're going into the C now for sure. So if nothing else, helping Skylar find that draw weight's not a bad thing if you're Nancy.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. Yeah, because she absolutely, your third, doesn't matter if it's her or anybody, whoever it is, your third has to, everybody has to play well, but your third particularly, I always figure the third has to be the best shooter on the team most of the time. So, yeah, it's gonna be a bonus for her just to at least finish off this game on a nice positive throw.
And that will indeed finish up the game. The final score will be 6-2 in favor of Amber Holland. And they do qualify through the B side here. And Nancy Martin and her rank, well, fall to the C.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see Nancy's team come out strong in the next one. I like I say, I had her game in the first one, and they struggled a little bit, and then came back and won a couple to get to here. And it's a team is going to be better in the next game. They just couldn't really quite find the weight enough. And Amber Holland herself, her team played well, but Amber Holland herself just pretty much made everything today. She really She might have had a couple of half shots somewhere, but basically didn't really miss anything. So she just throws a really nice rock, and she was on today. So kudos to her to make it through. And good luck to Nancy in the next one.
Our next broadcast will be at 8:30 Mountain, 10:30 in the East. So for Jim Nix, Gerry, Cailey, and myself, Dave Schmel, we thank you so much for watching Curling Stadium. It's the Martensville Invitational, brought to you by Curling Stadium.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.